Hey, what's up everybody? TechChucker here, and welcome back to yet another review of the Loyal Subjects BST Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello this time. We've already heard Amazon blah 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 hasn't sent me my Michelangelo. That's why I'm doing these as individual reviews. Otherwise, if I had all four, we would have just had one review, been done with it, and we could have all gone on with our lives. But they didn't. So here's where we're at. This Donatello is probably my favorite so far of the four. Well, of the three, I should say. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna love the Michelangelo one even more. My favorite turtle is Leonardo. So it's saying quite a bit that Donatello is my favorite of this set so far. The sculpt on this is awesome. I love just how slender he is. Let's pull this off and let's take a slightly closer look at him. He seems to have a lot more detail sculpted into his skin, and that just makes me excited for when I do get to the point of actually doing a wash on him, because I think there's just a lot of great detail that is going to go a really long way. I love the wraps. So his wraps are kind of a creamish look, whereas Raphael's are kind of a dark brown, and so are Leonardo's. So I like the fact that we get a different looking wrap on Donatello. He's a hair taller. His knee pads, they're not amazing looking, but the fact that we can see his kneecaps, that's the part that is a little bit weird to me, but it's also kind of nice. Same with his elbows. His elbow pads do the same thing. But the really cool thing is his shell is made to look like it's actually a metal hybrid of some sort. Weapon storage for his bow staff, and it fits in there fairly nicely. I mean, that you can't complain about that. Needs some paint. Everything on these figures needs way more paint, but like I said, I'm gonna try and do that myself. So when it comes to the sculpt on these guys, really quite impressed with it. I'm very pleased with it. Every piece is a little bit different. Front shell piece is very soft. Trying to remember on these guys. Yeah, on Raphael it's soft. On Leonardo it's also soft. So we get some flexibility there, which is awesome. But in the end, it's really all about the sculpt work on these guys, because they're really impressive. I've never bought any of the Loyal Subjects figures before. They always looked a little cheap and chintzy. Plastic seems much nicer on these guys. And again, the sculpt, bar none, is the best part about these figures. We'll do a quick measurement, see how tall he comes in at, and Donatello is coming in at about 5, almost 3/4, 5 and almost 3/4, so slightly taller, but not by much. Let's do some size comparisons with some other turtles. We've got the Neca Toys cartoon Donatello, then we've got the Neca Toys movie Donatello, and then last we've got the Neca Toys monster Invisible Man Donatello. And of course, you know, he's fairly small, but he's not nearly as small as the cartoon one. Lastly, let's do our obligatory Marvel Legends Deadpool, just so you can kind of see what he would look like with a Marvel Legends figure. With this scale, I wouldn't say that you're gonna scale him with any of your Marvel Legends, but you could, because, you know, the turtles might be considerably smaller, but overall, I love the sculpt. I love the way that it looks, the face, all of it. It just looks so good. All right, let's check out the articulation on this guy. Pretty much the same as the other two. He has this bandana piece, which is on a ball peg. This one seems to be a little bit better. It does swivel around, but still comes out fairly easy, so we'll pull that off before we break it. In the head, he's got a ball peg, and he can't look up much, which is pretty standard for these guys. He can look down just a little bit. That's disappointing. I feel like he should have been able to look down a little bit more. He can look side to side, pretty decent. He's got pretty good swivel or side-to-side motion, angle, whatever you call that. Down in the shoulders, these are a little bit tight, and because his arms are a little bit spindlier, it makes me a little bit nervous. I kind of have to, you know what, let's do this arm. I need to reheat it or something. but he can get his arm out about that far, which is pretty awesome. He can swivel his arm around, and then he has butterfly joints, which for Donatello, considerably better. He can basically get his hands together, which is awesome for using the bow staff. He could do kind of almost like an overhead shot or attack. He's got a bicep swivel that works pretty good. He's got double jointed elbows. Those go all the way in half, but they are quite ugly. I'm not a fan of the way that that looks, but the fact that you can get well over 90 degrees, basically in half, I'll take it. Down in the torso, supposedly there is a waist swivel. Not much, maybe a little bit more than I got out of Raphael. There's not really anything going on in the waist or in the torso, though I can see there's supposed to be something right here, but it doesn't really move much. So it's basically like you've got nothing, which is pretty typical for turtles anyway. Down in the hips, he can pretty much do the splits, which is awesome. Love that. He can kick forward about that far, which is also great. He can kick back that far, which is better than the other two. And then he has a waist or a thigh swivel, as the others did as well. It breaks that sculpt up quite a bit. Down in the knees, he's got double jointed knees. Ugly as sin, though maybe not as ugly just because of the color, because these are brown. But still, it's butt ugly. Down in the ankles, he's got a ball peg with a hinge. He can get his foot back that far, which is, I think, the best out of the three. And then he can get his foot forward that much, and then he has an ankle rocker. So, articulation-wise, I'm really impressed. I'm very impressed, especially considering some folks were warning me, oh, articulation's garbage on these. It's not. It's actually pretty darn good. Before we get into the accessories for Donatello, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Here's the front. Here is one of the sides, the back, which looks, has some interesting information. And then the other side, I'm not going to keep this. I will be throwing it away. So that is all we're going to do in regard to the packaging. Next, let's talk about accessories on this guy. We'll zoom in just a little bit. All right, what does Donatello come with? Number one, he comes with 2 bandanas, one for each head, I assume. They look to be pretty much exactly the same as we've already gone over. They basically just peg into the back of the head and they swivel around and what have you. So those are nice. Not really accessories, but we've got a little bit of a strap that comes down and attaches to his belt. Not much for paint, but what we do get is we get weapon holding for his bow staff. And his bow staff is pretty nice looking. Nothing too spectacular. The paint is pretty minimal. We've got the wrapping, which is great that it's sculpted in here. And then we have some wood grain on this. Let's zoom it in so hopefully you can really get a good look at that. The detail work on this really is very nice. So just adding a little bit of extra paint is going to make this pop, which is what I'm planning on doing with my figure. So it slides in very nicely into this back piece, and that holds very well. It's not going to fall out or anything, which is awesome. The other accessories that he comes with are some extra hands, and we all know I like getting extra hands. We've got each of them having the wraps, which is obviously very nice. We get kind of a finger pointing one almost. We've got a full-on butt grabbing one, another butt grabbing one, and then another almost looks like he's pinching something. But those are nice to have. He did come with 1 fist hand. I would have liked to have had 2 fist hands, a fist hand for each of the turtles at least, but a pair of fist hands for each turtles would have been awesome. And then the other accessories that are really what are making me love this figure so much and are so unique. First is this guy, which is basically, I'm not really sure what it is, but it fits on his either hand, and we'll zoom this out. It just looks so cool. It's kind of like almost like a blaster or something that he could punch with. but it just looks so cool. It's got that mechanical feel. The only other thing that would have been really awesome is if they had added some little like wires or pipes or something, but that's something that you could add afterwards yourself. And then the other piece is this really cool goggle set. And if we take a really close look at this, this just looks so cool. They've got little paint details. We got the yellow, the teal, blue, and red. Each lens has a different color on it, which is absolutely amazing. It sits really nicely on his head. And then the strap that goes around also looks really nice with the little bit of texturing that they did on this. This is just really well executed. They executed this guy so perfectly in my view. And if we look at the alternate head that he comes with, again, I think the two heads that he comes with are probably my favorite. He's got a little bit of a nice smile, and then we've got him all ticked off, ready to go and battle something, someone, who knows. But again, this little headset is so awesome, and it fits on both heads really nicely. It's just a great accessory. Then the last accessory, just like the others, he comes with this cardboard card. Again, I don't have a lot of need for it, desire for it, but I might turn it into some sort of like artwork for a diorama. So lots of folks enjoy these sorts of things. I would have preferred if they didn't have the BST logo on here, if they were gonna, do something like that, but such is life. There you have it. That is the accessories for our Donatello. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, don't be shy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all of that jazz. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of these BST figures? I'm really impressed. Are they worth the 20-some bucks? I kind of feel like they are. I really do feel like they are worth it. Yes, they are not perfect, but they're very fun, and especially in that 5-inch scale, which I don't have any 5-inch scale turtles, these kind of a must-have for a turtle fan. So go out, grab them if you can. I will probably leave links to Amazon affiliate links in the description below if this is something that you want to grab, but grab it wherever you prefer. There you have it. Hit the like, subscribe, all that junk, and I will see you in the next episode.